Over the last week or so, we saw a few games in which the team played the youth. We didn't have Julius Randle, and we got to see the young guys actually get some high quality minutes. And I think a lot of the guys impressed. If you look at what they were able to do in the last three games, not including the Pistons game, but in the last three games before that, without Randle, you can see all of the guys had positive plus minuses. Quick had the highest. Well, no, I'm sorry. Sims had the highest at 9.7, followed by Quick at 8. Then you see Obi at 4.7, Deuce at 3.7, and then Quentin Grimes at 2.3. So you look at some of the guys, Deuce, Grimes, they don't have the biggest, statistics when it comes to accumulation, but their minutes out there on the court, they at least helped this team, win, build leads and things like that. So I was excited to see those guys out there on the court together, and I think each one showed me something that that kind of surprised me. You saw Quick; he had the offensive explosion when he was able to go off for the 20 points. Deuce once again played solid defense, and look at how he's been shooting. He shot 54.5% from the field, and he shot 55.6% from the 3-point line. And a lot of people were looking at him playing in the G League, and they were saying he couldn't replicate that in the NBA. And I'm not sitting here saying he is going to replicate, that type of performance, but the efficiency still there. It hasn't left him. You look at Grimes, he hasn't played too many minutes. He's averaging 14.2, and he was coming back off of injury, but he was still active out there on defense, made solid rotations. We saw our guy Obi. Obi finally got some minutes, and he produced 14.3 points per game, 8.7 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game, and I believe he only averaged 0.7 turnovers. So you look at a guy in Obi who can average 3 assists, only turn over the ball 0.7 times per game. That's a guy that you can, asked to do a little bit more on offense. Yes, he has to work on his game, but he needs the minutes and he needs the floor time. You look at the minutes he played today with Julius Randle coming back. I think he only played 17 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
think
played
six.
17 minutes.
Yeah,
Well, based on
exactly.
ESPN, it says 17.
Yeah, they
So
rounded
you
off. Yeah.
see rounded up. So you see him drop from 35.7 all the way down to 17, especially when he was putting up those kinds of stats. I just don't understand, especially in a game where Julius Randle didn't have a great first half, to me, you see what these guys can do when they're given opportunities, and to have a game like, we saw against the Pistons, where some of these guys weren't able to continue to build upon that, is a little frustrating for me.
Yeah, on Obi, we always say Randall's 20-10-5, 20-10-5, 14-8-3, or almost 9-3, and that you're saying to yourself, you know what? We don't need, if we move the ball and stuff like that, I don't need Randall for assists. And the 6 point differential on points between 20 and 14, let RJ or somebody else, to get that dispersed. So the goodness, like you said, without the turnovers, the movement, the energy, all of that. That was fantastic. And just a couple other stats since February 6th. This is the last 3 games, folks. But since February 16th, IQ 15.2 points per game, 5 rebounds per game. Like Keith was saying, he's fantastic. He's just been tearing it up on the rebounding side. 3.8 assists. He's shooting 48% from field goal, 43% from 3, and 90% from the foul line. So, which is intense. And then getting to my boy, or our boy, Deuce, since the All-Star break. First of all, shout out to Fred Katz for that last one, and this one's Tommy Beer shout out. Since the All-Star break, the Knicks have outscored their opponents by 90 points in the 151 minutes that Deuce has been on the floor. And that's the highest plus minus among players who've played less than 200 minutes. And New York has been outscored by 40 points when McBride's on the bench. So that tenacious defense you just mentioned, he didn't score today, but every game you just see, the last game, that gorgeous cross court pass to RJ, the way he's seeing the game, sees the floor. I actually think that Deuce has more natural instincts to be a point guard than Quick. So, but together, they're dynamite, man. They could pick you up 94 feet on defense. Just the way they're working and stuff like that, the camaraderie they're building. We talked about Grimes, elite 3-point shooter. I'm sorry he got hurt, but Sims, is rebounding is fantastic. His energy is fantastic. Pardon me, that more time and more side things where Quickley and the guys are saying no here. I don't know if they were talking about offense and stuff, but Sims was part of that discussion. That this is just really, really impressive, and something about hope. Hey, folks, when we go through a season like this, hope is everything. It brings you to tomorrow. When you look at these kids, we have hope.
Yeah, that's a fact, Foxy. Let's see. Bayside Junior says 17 minutes is actually good for Deuce considering it's Tibbs. I was surprised he didn't get benched. If Grimes was playing, does Grimes get those Deuce minutes and McBride gets a DMP? Well, if Grimes is available, you probably see yeah, you probably cutting into Deuce minutes a little bit. Because right in this game, Tibbs went with what, a 9-man rotation. There was no minutes for Taj, no minutes for Ryan A. So yeah, if Grimes were healthy, you'd probably see a cut in Deuce's minutes.
Yeah. We have another super chat from our friend Buzzer Beater.
Do we? Where? Okay. Here we go. Thank you, Buzzer Beater, for the super chat. He says over under 40 games till Tibbs is fired next season. Honestly, that's a loaded question because it all depends on what we do in the offseason. If the roster stays as is, then yes, Tibbs is probably going to get fired in under 40 days. I mean, 40 games. Well, maybe under 40 days too. Who knows? But yeah.
I like the way you roll.
Yeah, he definitely is not going to last 40 games. I don't see it. If we're going to run the same style of offense, you're going to see, maybe he might give the younger guys a little bit more minutes like we're seeing with Quick. But then again, there's also evidence that they won't see an extended play because you look at what we're seeing from Obi. Obi hasn't hit 20 minutes. How many games has Obi hit 20 minutes in a game where Randle has played?
I was about to say he only gets 20 minutes when Randle doesn't play.
Yeah, you can probably count that on one hand. So that's crazy, man.
Yeah. I'm really starting to feel that they're going to get rid of Randle in the offseason and keep Tibbs.
I'm open to that because one of them has to go. If they're sold on Tibbs, then at least move on from Julius Randle, free us from that contract, and then with Tibbs, you can always move on from Tibbs at any point. It doesn't hurt our cap, so no skin off my back.
And we'll touch on this in a little while, folks.
Yep, in a few minutes as well. Will Salkin says that graphics/chart is amazing. Thank you, appreciate it. Feel free to screenshot and share on your socials.
Hey, Will, hope all is well. Quick shout out.
Boss says, "Oh no, go ahead. Do what you gotta do."
Just wanted to do a quick shout out that we have 100 people in the chat. We have 43 likes. So do us a favor and hit those likes, hit the subscribe, hit that all reminder bell so you don't miss out on any of the wonderful content from Sports Vibe TV. Again, 2 wonderful videos in the last few days on Quickley and the young kids. Please check it out. Please share the link on your favorite social media platforms. And as always, shout out to the best mods on the planet. We appreciate all you do. And just real quick, I'll say hello, but we'll answer your questions a little later. But Prezi the Boss, Sincere the Genius, our field producer, we surveyed 100 people. Lex the Destroyer, Will Salkin, like we just said, Bayside Junior, Splashing 12, Kevin McLeod, hope all is well. Still Dre, Troy Flett, like you said, the one, the only Geraldine McIver, my friend Justin L. I don't know if he's here. Also, Janine V. D is ballin'. D is poetic. Professor D, my good friend D. I love that guy. Wilson Dang, DBR, Adele Chapman. Just all the regulars, man. We just appreciate all your support. And we'll be getting into DeCoulis 718 again. We'll be getting into all of your questions in a little while. But thanks so much for your support. It's been a long season, and Keith and I feel so blessed to have you, as friends and also just supporting the channel. Yep, and also, just one last thing, that we're only a couple hundred away from 6,000 subscribers. So if you have subscribed, thank you so much, but please tell a friend. And if you haven't, please hit that subscribe button.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Foxy. Want to give a shout out to Prezi the Boss. He says, my ideal squad: Money Mitch, Obi, Cam, RJ, Ivy. Then off the bench, you've got Bamba, Sims, Grimes, IQ, and Deuce. Bring back Pinson, and the rest of the bench. Bring back Pinson, and the rest of the bench will be whoever we get from selling the vets in draft. I mean, I think I like that because you can play Bamba and Sims together because they play Wendell Carter Jr. and Bamba together. So I think you look at Bamba, the effect that he can knock down the three, and he also can give you some level of rim protection. You see Sims, you mentioned him and the energy he's able to provide this team. He's very active. I think Rit Holtzman posted a film breakdown just showing how, he's able to dive to the basket repeatedly, and it helps with the spacing a little bit more than you see when Mitch is out there, because Mitch, for the most part, if he's not setting the screen and being involved in the play, he's normally just stationary under the rim for the most part. And that there's some issues sometimes when Julius Randle or RJ is trying to drive, because at times Mitch's defender may be there in position to help. So I think, you have a guy like Bomber, you have a guy like Sims. Some people view Sims as a power forward. How do you feel about that, Fati?
Absolutely. Well, in today's league, but he's 6'9". I think he's 6'9" and change. They round him off and make him 6'10". But
it's hard to tell him with the hair. It's hard to tell with the hair, man.
You got that right. So yeah, absolutely, more like old-fashioned power forward, but nonetheless, yeah. But like we said, his rebounding and stuff like that. But on that one for Prezi, how did we get Ivy, by the way, in that lineup? Yeah.
Instead of my ideal squad, it should have been my dream squad.
Yeah, for sure.
Sincere the Genius says, I think Deuce and Grimes are going to tear up the Summer League next season. I believe so as well. Hopefully Grimes is fully recuperated. Hopefully I'm able to, get down to Vegas and watch them again. I enjoyed my time down there. The NBA puts on a fantastic product. You really get close to the players. You're not on the court or anything, but you're close enough to see them and actually gauge, their size, their length, and things like that. So I'm definitely hoping I'm going to be able to make my way out there again to see whoever the Knicks decide to draft in the upcoming draft.
Oh, that was great. You met, Mitch last year coming back. Yeah. You were so happy you started singing, and my dog started barking.
I had to serenade the Lakers fans as they were